Again, we're trying to get our line to Essex, but meantime, I'm pleased to welcome to the show because I want to engage in a conversation with Liam Norton, who's with Insulate Britain. Mr. Norton, prior to my first question, could I possibly ask you not to offer apologies or talk about a code red for the planet, but explain why? Why is it that you can inconvenience people, you can stop someone getting for their dialysis appointment, stop a cancer surgeon going to operate? What gives you the right to do that? Good morning, Mr. Norton.
Good morning, Nick. How you doing?
I'm lucky I'm not on the M25. But again, what gives you the right to disrupt people's lives to this level?
I mean, I agree with you, Nick, that the situation that we're in at the moment, it's completely unacceptable. I mean, I agree with that.
You don't condone what some of your colleagues are doing with these protests, then?
Well, look,
you don't support them.
We're in a situation here, Nick, aren't we? And it's really difficult to emotionally connect with the gravity of the crisis that we currently find ourselves in. And I won't use the code red if you don't want me to. So what I'll say is I'll use a quote from Sir David King. He's the former chief scientific advisor to the British government. And this is what he said back in February. He said, what we do in the next 3 to 4 years will determine the future of humanity. Now, Nick, you're an intelligent guy. Now, can you read between the lines of what that statement means?
Did Sir David King also say it would be beneficial to disrupt the lives of thousands of people?
Well, yeah, but Nick, I've just asked you a question about can you emotionally connect with the amount of work that needs to be done in the next 3 to 4 years to turn things around, what the actual meaning of determining the future of humanity for thousands of years to come? Because if you can emotionally connect with that and the gravity of what those words mean, then what we're doing on the motorway today starts to make a little bit more sense. We're in an absolute emergency and we're looking for leadership from this government to get on with the job. And that means the first step, which is agreed by academics in this area, is to insulate the country and start to decarbonise our homes. It's going to it's the best value for money for reducing emissions, hundreds of thousands of proper, meaningful jobs for the country.
Norton.
And it's going to stop thousands. There was 8,500 of our elderly that died because they couldn't afford to heat their homes last year.
I really don't know that it falls to you to tell me about the elderly who are dying, because we've got the elderly who can't get to hospital appointments. So how can you possibly... You talk about the future of humanity. What about the future of a cancer surgeon who was going to operate this afternoon on people suffering from cancer, and you've denied them the possibility of doing that?
Well, look, what we're talking about here, Nick, is the destruction of our economy and our society. And if this continues and if it doesn't get dealt with, our health system will collapse. So what we're talking about is getting on with this job. We're talking about the continuation of all that we hold dear, which includes the health service, and it includes all those things. Nick, those things are going to fall apart unless we get hold of this situation.
But I find it intriguing you would quote Sir David King to me, because I assume it's the same Sir David King who once suggested it was a good idea for us all to buy diesel cars.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but look,
I
he's
am.
the climate
so
advisory.
Why are you selective? Why are you selective about his advice, or can we all go and buy diesel cars?
Okay, so let's look at another industry figure. Okay,
let's reflect on the great guru that is Sir David King. Okay. Who also said buy diesel car. So should we now all go and buy? Or I would imagine that would make you rather upset if everyone was to do that. So why are you selective about the advice you take?
It's not about the advice that we take.
You are.
It's about the statements that he makes.
So we can buy a diesel car.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's up to you what you buy, isn't it? But what we're saying is we need leadership from the government about what they're doing.
Well, not if I want to drive around the M25, because I won't get anywhere, will I? Whether it's electric or diesel, Mr. Norton.
Nick, you can talk about diesel cars, okay, and that's fine, but you're ignoring the reality. You're ignoring this reality. And Sir James Bevan, the chief executive... So the chief executive of the Environment Agency, that's a well-respected agency in this country.
Right.
And what he said is that we're hitting worst case scenarios in terms of extreme weather events in the UK at the moment. Worst case scenarios. Nick, this is happening, mate. And I know it's really difficult to accept emotionally.
We all know it's
have families.
It's almost, Mr. Norton, as if everyone is aware of the crisis. Many are looking to COP26 to hear some of the solutions. I would put it to you, as I put to others, You should be trying to trap Boris Johnson or the Environment Secretary in their respective offices, not people who are trying to earn a crust or to get to hospital appointments or to go and see family members.
Nick, you know as well as I do that if we were doing that, we wouldn't be speaking at the moment, and the government and Priti Patel wouldn't be making statements about us.
If you'd if you'd close the gates outside number 10, you know we'd be talking to each other about that. The reality is, those police would not allow you to glue your hands to the tarmac, whereas sadly Hertfordshire are utterly inept and they allow your colleagues to do that. That's the reality, isn't it?
Well, Nick, you said that you recognise strong and decisive leadership from the Essex Police Force earlier.
Yeah.
And what we are asking for is exactly the same thing. We want strong and decisive leadership from our government on this issue that's going to destroy our economy and it's going to destroy the very fabric of our society. Right. We recognise the need for strong leadership, and at the moment we are not getting it. Right. So it's left for ordinary people to start. We are trying to fight for the futures of everybody that's on that motorway, everybody that's in London, and everybody that's in the United Kingdom at the moment. That's what we're doing.
Are you and your colleagues out this weekend or next week? Do you know, Mr. Norton?
Well, I believe that today some of our colleagues have started to increase things. There's been criminal damage. Paint has been put on the road. I think.
Sorry, how does that? Sorry, your colleagues are spray painting the road, are you?
So people are also giving statements that if they are released, that they will continue to cause criminal damage on the roads.
So how does that help? Causing criminal damage. How is that going to insulate the country?
Nick, what we're saying to the government...
No, please answer the question, Mr. Norton.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
How is spray painting the tarmac going to insulate the country?
Because what we're saying to the government is as soon as a meaningful statement is made, we will stop. We will stop going on to the road.
This is a bunch of anarchists verging on criminality, isn't it, Mr. Norton?
What's criminal, Nick, is that the government aren't upholding their own laws of staying below 2 degrees.
Right, are you out and about this weekend? My listeners might like to know, or indeed next week. Can you tell us of your plans?
This campaign will continue until a meaningful statement is made by the government that they're going to start Insulate Britain and protect
my question was this weekend and next week. I doubt you're going to tell me where or exactly when, but are you out and about this weekend or next week?
This campaign will continue until the government make a meaningful statement that they're going to
I must leave it. I have asked you 2 or 3 times. Liam Norton, I'm grateful for your time. I loathe what you're doing, but thank you for engaging with me. You're with Insulate Britain. It's 9:18, LBC News Headlines, Holly Harris.